Welcome, everybody. Adam and Danger here with another video this week for you. Hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. And if you played some DFS, hope you had some good success. Uh, of course, before we get started, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the video, and make sure you hit the alerts for the subscription so that way the videos show up on your homepage, and then similar videos in addition to ours. And then you will also get notifications right away as to when our videos drop. And as you know, in the world of DFS, information is important. So the earlier you can get it, the better. So we're going to cover the main slate here today with some less games, obviously, since we're already 3 down from Thanksgiving. Danger, how was your Thanksgiving?
Oh, it was good, man. A lot of noise, but I appreciated it all
Hmm.
all the same. But yeah, man, and those games over the those games were
Yeah.
a lot of fun over the weekend, man. And man, you made me second guess again on myself, man. I should have gone with
Hmm.
Deshaun Jackson, dude. I knew
I
he was.
couldn't believe it.
I
I
it
I
was
didn't have a
crazy.
chance to I didn't have a chance to watch many of them because we were hosting.
Oh yeah.
So I only caught a little bit of the Bears Lions game, but yeah, I was still following them on my phone, and that notification went off that Deshaun Jackson 56-yard touchdown, and I was like, of course, why didn't I? Because I know as soon as I say something, I should put in a lineup that's opposite of that, just in case that very thing happens.
I know.
So
I mean I watched over the our last video, and I'd say I'm kind of proud of ourselves, man. We were right. I would have to say at least like 80% of what we predicted to
yeah,
go in. I mean, I think the
yeah,
big two were Waller and Montgomery didn't have a good game, obviously.
yeah, and
But
Swift got hurt.
yeah,
Swift
that's
and
right.
Waller got hurt. You can't do anything about that. I was still good on cash side, but GPPs got tanked thanks to DeAndre Swift. So
Yeah.
injuries can't do anything about it. He started hot. He had 3 receptions like right off the bat. So
Yeah.
I was
Oh
like,
yeah,
okay,
within that
here
first
we go.
quarter. Yeah. Yeah,
But
he was getting set up for a good game for us, but yeah, man.
yeah,
Fo-
I'll pat myself on the back for Tony Pollard though.
yeah,
Especially if you played Tony Pollard and the Cowboys. I mean, if you played the Cowboys defense, it still didn't quite work because they let the Raiders hang 36 on them. But I still was able to double up on that kick return touchdown
I
by
mean,
playing Tony Pollard and the Cowboys defense.
I'll pat my back on saying, hey, you could even stack Zeke and Pollard,
Hmm.
Deshaun Jackson and Schultz, man.
Yep.
I
Credit to
mean,
you on that one.
yeah. I mean, the Cowboy offense in general did really good across the board. Honestly, like,
Considering, yeah.
yeah, considering them losing and everything. But that's in the past. We're going to this weekend, and let's just start off again like we always do with the quarterbacks on the Monday slate. And Adam, who the heck are we looking at here?
Well, I wish last week hadn't have happened because I had a really good Monday night by taking betting on Tom Brady coming off of a loss,
Yeah,
and so he's still at the moment projected as QB1. It's the highest over under on the slate currently at 53. It's the only game on the Sunday slate or on the Sunday main slate that's over 50 points for the over under. Everything else
really.
is under 50. So this might be the
Ooh,
game to attack. If you believe in that, obviously last week's main slate, the highest over under on the week was Cowboys Chiefs at 56, and that wasn't even close to touching that. That was a really ugly game, and it hurt me. But just statistically, you got to go with that kind of strategy. So Tom Brady, even though he's not coming off of a loss, which I would prefer because he always has great games coming off of losses, I'm still very into. And he didn't even really have like a crazy game
yeah.
on Monday. It was he only threw 2 touchdowns and 1 interception, so he might be due for kind of a bigger game.
A monster
Um,
one. Yeah.
Yep, but I like Tom Brady. Jalen Hurts saved me last week. 3 rushing touchdowns for Jalen Hurts. So I'll pat myself. I think we can both pat ourselves on the back
Yeah.
for Jalen Hurts.
I'm always on the Hurts bus, man. I like
Yeah.
it's
Well, this week I think will be tougher to eat at 7,300,
yeah.
but still playing the Giants, and I think it'll be a good leverage play because I think that 7,300 price tag will scare some people away. I still really like Jalen Hurts this week. Any top guys that you're looking at?
The top guy I'm looking at right here is gonna be I'm just gonna go back to this well, of course, is gonna be Herbert again,
Hmm.
Justin, my Cali brother. But man,
Hmm.
I just can't believe it, man. He scored 38 points last week, and he's $100 cheaper. Like I feel like this is
Yeah.
like a miss price on DraftKings, and because he's going against
Hmm.
the defense of Denver, there who is decent, but
Hmm.
I feel like this is going to be possibly a complete repeat of what the Pittsburgh games is going to be with them. I think
It could
Denver is,
be. It could be. Yeah.
yeah, I think Denver can keep up with them, and again, it's just going to be a shootout in the second half here. I could definitely see that going. And I mean, Austin Eckler was incredible during that, and even Keenan Allen, who I don't even think got a touchdown that game, but still scored like over 20 points, which is crazy.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think this is
Hmm.
just going to be another monster game from Herbert's.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it is a misprice. You mentioned he's $100 cheaper, and I think that was because they were playing in Denver. But Vegas has the over under at 48, so that's still a solid
It's
over
pretty
under,
pretty
and
high. Yeah.
and the Chargers only 2.5 point favorites. So that indicates that they seem to think that the game will be similar to the Pittsburgh game, in that it'll be a little more of a shootout. So yes, I think Justin Herbert is a pretty big misprice at only 6,600. I'm going to bring up one more guy before we get into some value guys, and that's your boy Matthew Stafford. Um, big big fan of the Rams offense this week going against Green Bay. I'm surprised that the over under isn't higher. I think that's more reflective of the uncertainty around Aaron Rodgers. Um, but but we've seen that Green Bay's defense, they couldn't hold Kirk Cousins up to. I mean, Kirk Cousins effectively led like two game-winning drives
Yeah.
against the Green Bay defense, and so I think you gotta call it quits when that happens to you. So big fan of Matthew Stafford this week, and we'll talk about some more Rams as we get into different positions. But any value guys that are catching your eye?
Honestly, the only value guy I'm kind of looking at this week because of his price point and who he's going up against, like, is going to be Cam Newton,
Yeah.
5,600. Like, I do think we talked in an earlier episode where I think like the Miami Dolphins are kind of they're going to beat all the bad teams, but they're going to lose to all the good teams. Like
Hmm.
they're like the gatekeepers, even though
Hmm.
their record is like I don't know like 3 or 7 or like that. They're gonna definitely put you into place, but I think that's just good news for Cam Newton because he's not one of those typical quarterbacks, man.
Yeah.
I feel like, man, you're gonna get some rushing touchdowns out of him too, and yeah, man, for 5,600 and the upside of what he could bring to this offense and against this defense, this is a
Hmm.
slam dunk all the way for the value plays.
Yep. Yeah, I'll give two more. One I will make. I like Cam Newton. He's up there. One I'm going to make my official, uh, as we've done in recent weeks. I'm going to do an official value play, and then I'm going to give you a real punt one.
The punt.
So, my official value play is going to be Trevor Lawrence, at 5,400. He's playing Atlanta. We know. Uh, we've been on his train
I
in
was gonna
recent
say
weeks, and it
we.
hasn't worked out. But it's Atlanta, like it's Atlanta. So
I know.
a law of averages says it's got to work out eventually. I really like his price point at 5,400. And if you're looking for a real pump play that could work out, and it's
Zach
gonna sound
Wilson.
crazy, Zach Wilson's
Oh,
coming back this
seriously?
week. Yeah,
Oh,
Zach
dude.
Wilson, Houston's defense. He's had time to sit and learn. Okay, because here's what Zach Wilson's
Okay,
problem
man,
has been,
walk me
and
through
this is
this.
from a Jets fan. Zach Wilson's problem in the games where he's looked bad, because he's had games where he's looked really good, and there hasn't been there really hasn't been any Zach Wilson games where it's like, okay, that was all right. They're either really bad or they're really good, and the
Yeah,
reason is he plays a ton of hero ball like rookies tend to do.
yeah.
Um,
I can't look
and
bad.
and
Yeah,
so yeah, so the reason that Mike White was able to come in and have success against the Bengals when they upset the Bengals was because he did what that offense is actually structured to do. It's a Kyle Shanahan offense. It's designed to take what the defense gives you, and that's why we see Jimmy Garoppolo have success. That's why we've seen Mac Jones because he's like, okay, I'll take the 6 yards here and do it. Zach Wilson's constantly looking for those 20-yard throws, and it's not going to work. So, and let's they're coming hot off of an upset. But let's not forget how bad Houston's defense actually is,
Yeah.
and how poorly coached they are. And even if Houston starts to get into a little bit more of a lead, because the Jets defense has been very bad in recent weeks, and they're in Houston, they're going to have to throw the ball. So he's a real pump play. He's not my official one, but we've seen the games where Zach Wilson looks good, and those have been against some solid defenses. So if you go against Houston's defense, that's a real pump play, but it could work out if he starts to incorporate what Mike White and Joe Flacco were doing well in this offense, and that's, hey, there's going to be opportunities for deep balls, but you have to know when to count your losses and either just throw it away or just take the 6 yards and that's it. So that's a pump play for me.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought would go into this person, but I felt it in my bones because yeah, it's against a very vulnerable defense, but oh boy, yeah, that is a pump play if I ever heard it.
It is,
Uh,
but
an unproven rookie coming off of an injury, yikes, on a
that
bad
is
offense, but
it's risky, but
yeah,
there's a scenario where it works.
yeah. All right. I think with that said, we're gonna move on to our running backs here, and I got an interesting question just straight off the bat.
Mhm.
Because we didn't mention him last week, but he's been proving it time and time again. Do we have to acknowledge that JT Jonathan Taylor is pretty much the next Derrick Henry in these lineups? That we have to treat him like a Derrick Henry in these lineups against every defense he goes up against?
Yes, I would compare him more to Derrick Henry than I would to a Christian McCaffrey because his passing workload is closer to Derrick Henry's as opposed to Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
So yes, I would certainly treat him as such. But again, with Derrick Henry too, you also have to be wary of some of these teams that are able to kind of game plan around him because there's games where Derrick Henry will dud you um, because they contain that offense so well. It's so well centered around Derrick Henry. But yeah, I think it's time. Boy, that was a rough week to not have Jonathan Taylor.
Dude,
I mean,
yeah.
that was
Seriously, if you didn't,
five
yeah,
touchdowns.
if you didn't have Jonathan Taylor or someone from either the Green Bay or Vikings offense last week, you
Hmm.
were not competitive. Like
Yeah,
it was actually pretty crazy how much he just skewed the whole thing.
yeah, yeah, and obviously that's not going to be a frequent thing, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's time. I mean, Jonathan Taylor, I haven't gone through my head like exactly how I would rank him, but I mean, he's easily top five
Oh
right now
yeah, for sure.
in terms of running backs across the league, not just fantasy, but just talking pure running backs. Um, I don't know how I'd rank him, but you got to think when healthy, Derrick Henry, McCaffrey's up there, Dalvin Cook, Austin Eckler. So I don't know exactly where I would rank him off the top of my head, but he's certainly up there. Um, so let me ask you this then: if you have to choose one because they're right at about the same price, Jonathan Taylor at 9,100 or Christian McCaffrey at an even 9,000?
Dude, that's actually pretty rough.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Because you probably can't play both.
no, yeah, if you play both, like I I would love to see the rest of what your team looks like.
Zach
But
Wilson.
yeah, man, add Zach Will for sure, dude. Try to get the price down on that.
Hmm.
For that, I don't know if it's recency bias, but I mean, I would have to go Taylor. Yeah, it's against the Tampa Bay's run D, but it hasn't been that good of a defense in the past few weeks.
Hmm.
If you look at
Yeah.
all the previous running backs in like the last 5 weeks, um,
Yeah.
the only thing is like the only thing that's kind of scary is like that's all that Indiana has right now is their run offense. They don't like passing wise. I don't know if
Mm,
it's because their passing is weak because of how good Jonathan Taylor has just become in these
hmm
past like few weeks, and they're like, screw it, we're turning into the Tennessee Titans offense, and we're just going to be a run offense now since
Yeah,
Taylor is blowing
or the
up.
Browns.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. Like we're switching it up here. They're finding out what kind of offense they truly are in these past few weeks because of the players that they have.
yeah,
But yeah, just recency bias. I would have to go with Taylor if I had to choose between McCaffrey, because
yeah.
there's also McCaffrey could get vulture by Cam Newton in like these rushing
hmm
touchdowns and stuff. I mean,
hmm
that being said, he still scored like 26 points without scoring a touchdown last week, 2 weeks ago. But
Yeah,
yeah, I would have to go with Taylor.
yeah,
Long story
yeah.
short.
I mean, Tampa Bay's run defense isn't as vaunted as it was at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
I I I would probably still. It's close. I think I would still lean McCaffrey just because he's playing Miami. Um, and lower over under games tend to favor the running backs, and McCaffrey's going to get that passing work. Um, Not to say Jonathan Taylor's not involved in the passing game because he certainly is more
Yeah.
now, but I think McCaffrey's got. Let me put it this way: I think McCaffrey's got the safer floor, but I could see scenarios where both of them have like upside wise, it's pretty much a tie. But I
Yeah.
think McCaffrey's floor is safer this week.
Yeah.
Um,
I can definitely agree with that.
so outside of that, any of these other top guys that you're liking before we get into some value plays?
I'm actually really liking, and I said this last week too, but and again, I'll just keep going to the well, is Joe Mixon, man.
hmm
He did great against the Raiders D last week,
hmm
or 2 weeks ago, whatever. And dude, I hope that I hope Zach Taylor, man, just looks at what the Chargers did to the Pittsburgh Steelers defense last
hmm
week, and just you know copy and paste, like, hey, we're gonna get Joe Mixon the ball, all this whole time, and make him get 40 points on the board. Because
Yeah,
like it just seems like more and more each week too that Steelers D is just getting more injured. Like
yeah,
TJ Watt's out. All they got is Hayward, and he likes to punch QBs and stuff like that. So he's probably gonna get out soon. Like, I don't know, man. But
yeah,
I'm definitely liking Mixon out of everyone this week
yeah, yeah.
for the
And
price and
I
D.
think yeah, I like Mixon. Gosh, I think Dalvin Cook at 81 is a massive misprice. Um, I just with how involved he is in every stage of the offense, and again, we've talked about how I think it's the same reasons we talked about Herbert, where I think they're overvaluing the 49ers defense. Um, and the over under in that game is 49 and a half, so it's I think that's the second highest on the slate behind the Colts and Buccaneers. Um, so yeah, I just 8100 just seems like a really just seems like a crazy low price to for Dalvin Cook for me. I feel like he should be closer to McCaffrey. I don't know that I think he's worth 9,000 like McCaffrey is, but I think he
Yeah.
should be in the high 80s. So I think Cook is a misprice. Any value guys that you're looking at? I've got a couple, but I
Yeah,
want to hear what you got first.
I got a couple too, and I'm gonna start off with James Robinson again, running back going
hmm
against a whatever the hell Atlanta Falcons are this week,
hmm
a dumpster fire. And
hmm
dude, I think this is one of the games that at his price point at 62, I think this is a game where he's gonna shine, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
that's one of them. And I would have to say, and I keep bringing him up every week too, is Melvin Gordon, dude.
hmm
Uh, Chargers defense is also really sus. Like left up a lot of yards for Najee Harris last week. I don't think Gordon is a
hmm
Najee Harris, but I think for the price at 53, I definitely think you can get 15 to 20 points with him next week.
Yeah.
What about you, man? What,
Um,
what are you thinking here?
so both of mine, and they're kind of punt plays, but I could certainly again, I could see scenarios where these work out. Miles Sanders coming back at only 5,100, so his price is driven down by the fact that he hasn't really played a ton recently.
Yeah.
I know the Eagles haven't really run the ball a ton. We had that Kenneth Gainwell week where it was just like the touchdowns went to everybody else, and then
Yeah.
obviously Jalen Hurts is coming off of a 3 rushing touchdown game. That's not going to happen every week. So just kind of law of averages, like if they're going to get some rushing touchdowns, the running backs are going to get more of them than the quarterback.
Yeah.
But
Should.
should, yeah, and maybe that whole narrative of the Eagles' run offense was centered around the fact that Miles Sanders was hurt, right? So,
Yeah.
and maybe they just didn't trust Kenneth Gainwell a ton. So I like Miles Sanders, and then this guy is uh, I don't even know that he's as much of a punt because I think his workload is actually safer than his price indicates. Ty Johnson for the Jets. I'm going to give you another Jets player here, but I don't think this one's a punt like Zach Wilson. I think this is actually a really good value play at 4,300. Michael Carter recently has been the RB1 in that offense,
Ooh,
so
he's
he's
injured.
hurt.
Yeah.
He's hurt, and we saw at the beginning of the year, Michael Carter still a rookie, obviously. So while he was kind of carving out his role in the offense, Ty Johnson was the RB1 for the first at least 3 weeks of this year. He's very involved in the passing game as well. The only I think concern would be around the goal line. If they run it, he could get vultured by Tevin Coleman, but I think Ty Johnson's floor is safe enough to justify playing him at only 4,300. So I love him as a value play. And again, they're playing the Texans, so
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Ty Johnson this week.
Man, yeah. First, I'm hearing of him, but yeah, I think that's a safe bet, especially for the price he's at. And he did have
Hmm.
some really good weeks too, when he was the backup against
And
like
even when
Indy and
even when
Cincinnati.
and even when Michael Carter was the RB1, Ty Johnson's still very involved in the passing game portion of the Jets offense, for what that's worth, because it's the Jets offense. Um, but yeah, I really like him.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring up one more just because I just saw him at this price, and that's gonna be Henderson Jr. for the LA Rams running back.
Hmm.
Man,
I was
he's
I was
he's
wondering why you didn't notice that.
yeah, he's only 5,800, man. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, that looks like a misprice. It might just be because the last two games have been losses and the bye week, so something kind of messed up with his numbers there. But
Yeah.
yeah, against this uh Green Bay defense, I mean, just look at Dalvin Cook's numbers last week. Like I feel
Hmm.
like this is a safe play too as well.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the wide receivers here. And all the way at the top, 9,600, the most expensive player ever right now is Cooper Cup. And holy
Hmm.
cow, man. That is wild, dude. Is
Yeah.
he worth it, Adam?
Ooh, I think so. I think he
Really?
can get you there at 9,600. I do. Um, I mean, we just saw how poorly uh, Green Bay's defense has been,
Yeah.
um, and that not we're not just talking about recently and with Aaron Rodgers missing time and being injured, and that obviously plays a factor into like the whole game. But just all season, I've just not been impressed at all with Green Bay's defense, and so I think it's hard to eat that price in a GPP, but I think Cooper Cup can still get you there at 9,600 in cash, um, and still be worth it at that point. But but you're our resident Rams fan, so I'll hand over my biased opinion to you, or I'll ask for your biased opinion, I should say.
And
Do
yeah,
you
my
think he's
my
worth
homer
it?
pick, dude. I
Yeah.
mean, even in games we've sucked, he's been at least like 25 points.
Hmm.
But I feel like for 96, you want more than that. You want at least like 30 and more, which is very hard to do.
Yeah.
That's like 10 catches for 100 yards and like 3 touchdowns. Which I mean, I'll give Cooper Cup granted. He's almost done that almost every week. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
which is why he's so expensive
Yeah.
right now. 96 against a really suspect Green Bay defense. Screw it, go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, put him in, dude. Lock it
Well,
in. Yeah.
yeah. So again, I think he's for GPP. I think it's harder to justify, and luckily, I have a few guys at the moment in my model that are cheaper that I do like better than Cooper Cup.
Yeah, let me
Um,
let me let me say one. I think that it's going to be. Is it good? One of them, Justin Jefferson.
no, he's actually
Really?
just below. He's one spot below Cooper Cup right now for me.
Oh
But he's
wow.
up
Okay.
there.
Yeah,
Yep. So
yeah, again, call it recency bias, but I mean, he's been having double digit targets like for
mhm.
pretty much every game so far.
Yeah,
And he's doing wonders with it too. And again,
yeah,
San Francisco, even though it seems like they have come online recently, I still feel like the price of what he's at and the team he's going against, I still feel like I still feel like it's a good play.
yeah, for sure. I mean, he's right next to Cooper Cup, which
Yeah,
should speak for itself.
yeah,
But I think the only reason he's down there is just because the guys above him, most of them are a little cheaper, and I think that's what's making kind of the difference in my model. But
gotcha.
you're
Yeah,
right. I mean, he's been awesome. He's just about made Adam Thielen a non-factor in this offense. Which, if you
which
look at
yeah,
Thielen 2 years ago, and then you say, well, they're going to draft this Justin Jefferson guy, and then Thielen's going to do nothing. Um,
he's still
it's just
pretty active though. But yeah, it seems like
he's
whatever
active, but
targets, yeah,
he's not Adam Thielen anymore. You know what I mean? He's not. He's more of a
wide receiver too. Yeah,
like a definitive wide receiver too. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
Because I think for a little bit it was like, wow, Minnesota's got two wide receiver ones. It's Justin Jefferson as the wide receiver one in that offense.
yeah.
Um, but the guy I like the most, it's in the same game, Debo Samuel at
Oh,
7,900.
oh
For
yeah.
kind of the same reasons that we talk of Cordarrelle Patterson, with Elijah Mitchell having been out, Debo gets a lot of rushing game work
Yeah, he's the running
in
back
his
and the
absence.
receiver now.
I mean, he was still taking. I think it was last week we talked about Jeff Wilson, and Jeff Wilson still did okay, but Debo took like a ton of opportunity from Jeff Wilson in the rushing game.
Eight
So
eight
Kyle
attempts.
Shanahan just
Yeah, eight
yeah,
attempts at 79 yards and one touchdown was his rushing offense for last week.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
And so and obviously still easily the wide receiver one in that offense.
Yeah,
Um,
by far.
so I think he's got the safest floor relative to his price in on the slate at the moment. Um, a couple other guys towards the top before we get into value plays. Justin Jefferson's one of them. Chris Godwin is only 7,000. I know we talk about how the Colts are better than kind of what their record indicates, and I think they've shown that in recent weeks.
Yeah.
Especially they just demolished the Bills, um, and I think even going against the Colts, it's 53 over under. He's only 7,000. It could be a Mike Evans week because I think last week was a Chris Godwin week, or at least was looking like it. He was at least getting a ton of targets before the Buccaneers decided to sit their starters because they were playing Daniel Jones, so there wasn't any threat of a comeback.
Yeah.
But I like him, and then also I think I like this guy more in this for this game than a guy you talked about previously, and that's Jamar Chase. I think
Ooh.
between Jamar Chase and Joe Mixon, I think I would rather play Jamar Chase this
Really?
week
Okay.
um, because we talked about Pittsburgh's offense being banged up, and I think most of it has been in the secondary. So Jamar Chase, we talked about his kind of floor, even as a rookie wide receiver, has been very impressive. I can see a really big week for Jamar Chase, and I think 7,300 is a big misprice considering what teams have been able to do to the Steelers defense.
Gotcha. Yeah, I could definitely agree with that. I mean, he might like take over as the like Mike Williams role that he had last week against the
Hmm.
Chargers, except more effective. So
Yeah,
I could definitely
for sure.
see that. All right.
Any value guys you're looking at for wide receiver?
Yeah, I'm actually looking at two here. I'm definitely liking Waddle against the Carolina. And again, it's just because he they refuse to like move his like price tag like anywhere he goes. It seems like we always come back to these like Waddle and like Higgins for these like mid like 5,000 tiers, but it's because they're consistent and they're always staying at the same price. So it's like
Yeah.
hard to it's like hard to ignore like I'm not gonna just I'm not gonna pick someone different just because like oh we talked about Waddle every week so far, but it's like it's
Hmm.
working, so stay with him. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, he was 5,600 and scored 20 points. That's amazing. That's great. And
Yeah.
he's only $300 more, and he's going against the Carolina defense. Yeah, lock him in. I do,
Yeah.
however, I actually really do like Deontay Johnson on the other side of that Cincinnati game
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
go against too. I mean, again, he's only 6,600. He's clear besides Najee Harris. He's clearly Ben's favorite target to throw to.
Hmm.
If he's there, the dude's quick too. He could kind of like serve as like that Deshaun Jackson role and like just run for the end zone if he could. But
Yep.
yeah, I'm those are the two I'm liking. And I do have one more, but I cannot find him for some reason. Go ahead.
So for my what I consider value guys, I try and look under 6,000, but I'm going to bring up one that's just above it because I need to bring him up, and that's DJ Moore at only 6,200.
Okay.
I think he was only 5,900 last week, and he had a really good game last week. So I still think I don't understand why they're still pricing him as though Cam Newton's like a downgrade at quarterback.
Yeah.
Um, so I want to bring him up. My favorite value play this week is Michael Pittman um, for the Colts. He's only 5,600. It's the highest over under. They're probably going to be playing from behind in some capacity. So Michael
Yeah.
Pittman in the game where it's the highest over under. I'm really a big fan of him. Uh, two more guys I want to bring up. Um, I just lost him. Give me 1 second. Brandon
Oh,
Cooks.
okay.
We talked about Brandon Cooks in recent weeks, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But he's playing the New York Jets. Tyrod Taylor's back at quarterback. I think Brandon Cooks' floor at 5,800 is pretty solid.
Yeah.
So I really like him. And then this is going to be a little bit of a punt play, just depending on how you feel about a guy we talked about earlier. But Corey Davis at 4,800 for the Jets. I'm not saying play all of these Jets all in the same lineup, but I think it's okay to sprinkle them in here and there if you're doing multiple lineups. Corey Davis is Zach Wilson's favorite target. We've seen the breakout of Elijah Moore lately at
Yeah.
56, and he's 5,600. But that's been in recent weeks where he's had a different quarterback. Prior to Elijah Moore's breakout, Corey Davis was Zach Wilson's preferred target. So I think him at 4,800. Honestly, I think Corey Davis offers a safer floor than Elijah Moore, although obviously with how he's played recently, Moore offers more upside. But again, given what Corey Davis's target share looked like in the games where Zach Wilson played, I think Corey Davis's floor is safer, and he's only 4,800.
What week did Wilson get hurt and has been out?
So he got hurt. He got hurt against the Patriots because I remember it was they didn't call roughing the passer on it, which compared to the other roughing the passer calls we've seen this year, it was unbelievable that they didn't call anything on it. Week
Wow. It was week
7,
7. So
yeah.
you're absolutely right. I just wanted to check your homework. Uh, the second Wilson was ruled out, Moore just became a much preferred
Hmm.
target for both Mike White and Joe
Joe
Flacco.
Flacco,
Yeah, his numbers like almost skyrocketed from there.
yeah.
Uh, yeah. I mean, if that's the case, like unfortunately for wide receivers, you want to go towards where the QBs are where they favor, like yeah.
Hmm.
So
And where they're more comfortable.
yeah, exactly. So definitely go to Junior for sure. And with that, do we not have any love for Higgins or Boyd this week then?
I do like Higgins. I was close to bringing him up. Um, let me see. Boyd, where's Boyd on my list? I like Higgins better than Boyd.
Gotcha.
Because I think we brought him up last week, and I don't think he scored again. So law of averages,
Yeah.
you gotta you gotta bank on it at some
Every week.
point.
You
But
gotta
yeah,
have a lineup where it's just like it's eventually going to work. Like and
yeah,
just throw all those players in and just see what
yeah.
happens that week.
Just
But
like they got to do it
yeah,
at some point.
I do want to bring one more person up, and that is going to be Odell Beckham Jr. He's only 5,000. I know. Like this is more like a discussion
I
point.
could see it though.
Yeah, like he's only
I could see it.
5,000. Sean McVay had 2 weeks to figure out an offense without Woods and plug in Odell Beckham Jr. in.
Hmm.
It is yeah. Can you see it? Can
Yeah, I can, especially from a narrative base where Odell Beckham, he goes to the powerhouse offense of the Rams. They get stomped by Tennessee, and then everybody's like, "Oh, well, it looks like Odell Beckham's just a bad thing to have on your team." So I could totally see then this bounce back week of like, "Oh yeah, okay," and then he either gets like a bomb touchdown or maybe even scores twice. Honestly, um,
playing against a team that did not sign him originally too, the Green Bay
yeah,
Packers.
one of his
This
preferred destinations.
yeah,
This has
this could
narrative play written all over it, and
dude,
I could
this could be a
100%. I honestly will probably play him
yeah, this could be a
just because of
revenge
that.
game for him for sure.
I
Just
would
just
I would 100% play Odell Beckham in a GPP. I wouldn't play him in a cash, but I would for sure. He's a GPP play
oh man. I think
just because that upside is like, oh, he's
I'll,
gonna,
I'll
yeah,
play him in
for
one of
sure.
my more riskier lineups. But all right, let's move on.
Yeah.
Let's move on to our tight ends here. And all the way at the top, of course, is George Kittle sitting comfortably up there at a 6,400.
Hmm.
Unlike other weeks, well, not other weeks, maybe previous weeks, I'm not too fond of the top tight ends that we got here. There are two that I'm seeing right off the bat at their price point where I'm like, nice. And that's going to
Hmm.
be Gronk,
Hmm.
who just had a heck of a game coming back into it. I mean, 6 for 8 targets, 71 yards. That's beautiful, especially at his price point for
Yep.
4,400. And the Muth,
Yeah.
Fire Muth, man. Like again, Ben loves throwing the ball to this guy. He's been
Yep.
doing great like almost every week here. He did have one slump of a game, but that was against the Detroit Lions, and that's when it was like pouring cats and dogs. Don't hold that against them. Everyone plays bad in the rain.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you on those two plays. They're both I think they're both in my top seven. Gronk and the Muth. I don't mind Kittle this week at his price. I know that's tough to eat at a tight end, especially with some of the running backs and wide receivers that we talked about. I'm not at all interested in Kyle Pitts at 60. I don't know
Yeah,
why he's consistently priced in the top three.
he's only
He
had like
it
one good game. Like,
it's the biggest red herring
yeah,
like on the planet, and I don't even care that he's playing Jacksonville. I don't want to play. I really don't want anything to do with the Atlanta offense unless Cordarrelle Patterson's playing, to be honest.
yeah,
Um, and so, not interested in him. Goddard's price is okay at 4,800,
yeah. That's reasonable.
especially considering they're playing the Giants. Um, two so Gronk and Fryermuth, yeah, I think they're kind of in that perfectly priced range. Um, two guys that are more on the value side that I'll bring up because I think tight end is a pretty tough pricing this week. But our boy Dan Arnold at 4,000, um, just incredible floor for a tight end. I already talked to Trevor Lawrence when we talked about our quarterbacks. So Dan Arnold's inherently going to be uh, part of that, and they're going against Atlanta, who is not a good defense. And then um, I I can't remember how he did because I think we brought him up last week, but
Conklin?
CJ Uzama,
Oh,
no, CJ, he's only 3,400 playing against Pittsburgh, and again we talked about the issues that they're having on their defense.
he got
I
3
can't. I
points
honestly can't. Yeah, okay, so
last week.
he didn't work out, and that's why he's only 3,400 this week. But he's kind of the CJ Uzama's kind of that Deshaun Jackson of tight ends, where he's
Yeah.
gonna either have games like that or he's gonna have like an insane like bomb touchdown. That's like, how is CJ Uzama that open? Against a secondary.
Yeah.
Um, so those are two value guys I like, but I'm 100% in agreements with you that Gronk and Fryermuth are kind of at that perfectly priced uh, range, right where I'm kind of comfortable with, and also that they have the what I feel like would justify playing them. Even though Gronk over the course of this year has become a little more touchdown dependent than I would like, um, I think Muth's targets are safer than Gronkowski.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, but obviously Gronk in a game where Tom Brady hasn't thrown for uh, a ton of touchdowns in a few weeks. So maybe this is the week that he gets it done, and it's the highest over under. So maybe he finds Gronk in the end zone, and then boom, 4,400. That's paid off right away.
Do we have any love for Conklin this week?
I do. He's in my top 10. Again, he's like we mentioned a couple weeks ago, and I don't know why they continue to target him when you have uh, Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, and Dalvin Cook in your offense.
Yeah.
He still gets like a wild amount of targets considering that those other three people are on the field. Um, so yeah, at 3,700, he's in my top 10 at the moment for
Yeah.
tight ends.
Gotcha. All right. Moving on to the defense here. And all the way at
Hmm.
the top, who I've been playing in all of my fantasy leagues, are the Patriots right now at 3,900, going against
Hmm.
a very beat up Tennessee offense right now, who quite literally have no one right now. Julio,
Yeah,
Julio Jones is on IR. AJ Brown is out. Derrick Henry's
yeah.
out. Yeah, man, this Tennessee, who looked like they were Super Bowl contenders, are just done for the year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that they're done for the. Well, the Colts are now suddenly a threat to win the division. A few weeks ago, when Henry was out, I was like, well, they're still going to win the division because the rest of their division is the Colts, the Texans, and the Jaguars.
Yeah.
But the Colts are suddenly a threat to come back now. Um, you know, but Mike Vrabel is still a very good coach, and I think he's at least in recent times. I think Mike Vrabel's kind of got Bill Belichick's number. So I don't know. I'm not really feeling 3,900 as beat up as the Titans offense is. I don't know that 3,900 is worth it. Um, Especially on this slate. I think there's cheaper options available that I think it's a safe play, but I think there's other options that offer some more upside. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, are they kind of your hammer at home even at 3,900?
No, not at all. Again, I play them in all my fantasy leagues. Like I saw the upward trend of this team. I'm like, dude, this defense is actually fire. I'm gonna pick them up and
Hmm.
take out the Rams defense that I had. But no,
Yeah,
3,900. I feel like that's too much. Cause like the past like couple of weeks, they had like um um pick sixes. Like
yeah,
which you do not want to pick a defense relying on that. Like
yeah,
my philosophy, even though I've said this a couple times in videos, for the defense when you pick DFS, it's like you want to go as cheap as possible with decent upside, like as to like hold on. You know what I mean?
hmm,
Like because
yeah,
you start off at 10 points and you just want to hold on to those like 6 points that you're gonna get. You know what I mean?
yeah,
From the sacks and like we've always joked like the past couple of weeks we joked about the Lions defense and like again they've held on to like 6 or 7 points. They get that
hmm,
one sack in or something like that. And
yeah,
I mean, dude, you look at the Jaguars that are at 2,200 against a crappy Atlanta Falcon team right now.
Yeah,
Without
they
without
were exactly who I was going to bring up.
yeah, without Patterson, it's like, dude, that
Mhm.
looks pretty good, you know? Like,
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Jacksonville at home. Um, yeah, I love their price at 2,200, especially given the state of Atlanta's offense. So they were exactly a team that I was going to bring up. One that worked out last week was the Eagles defense, but because they scored, but then they also gave up a ton of points, so that kind of like hurt the fact that they scored.
yeah, if they
Um,
score, you almost like the first points at least you lose 6
yeah,
points,
and the
which is a
way
lot.
the Eagles defense is weird because um the way that it's the games have gone, the games that they win, the way that they've gone is like the defense looks incredible, and then the offense gets up a ton, and then the defense just kind of lets the other team score so
Y-
that Philadelphia can
Yeah.
get the ball back and chew clock. And so for fantasy, that's not good. Um, so I think Philadelphia is kind of a tough, even though they're playing Daniel Jones, 3,200. I'm not crazy into, but Jacksonville at 2,200. If you uh, are in the right state of mind and want to fade some of the guys I've talked about earlier, the Houston Texans playing the New York Jets at 2,300.
Yeah.
Um, it's that because that's going to go one of two ways. Either my Zach Wilson love is going to be correct and they're going to go through the roof, or he's going to look like Zach Wilson has looked in most of his games. In which case, the Houston defense at 2,300, I mean, has got to be the number one defense on the entire slate.
Yeah.
Um, and then, whew, yeah, defense pricing is tough this week.
It really is.
Um,
May
one that's kind of come on lately, even they were not good all year, but one that's kind of come on lately is the Vikings. I know they just let the Packers hang a ton of points on them last week, but prior to that, not in terms of games, I don't know have the exact DFS numbers in front of me, but you know, I'm not as big a Jimmy Garoppolo fan, even though I'm big on Debo Samuel this week, but um,
no,
that
yeah, they
them at 2,400 is catching my eye. I'll put it that way.
yeah, just to put it in perspective, Texans and Jaguars had like 6 weeks combined 6 weeks combined that they had negative points.
Yeah,
Vikings, on the other hand, again, no negative points, and yeah, I could see the logic behind this.
yeah. I think this is a week. We talked last week about how it was kind of like a week when you're talking about strategy by position, where I was like, oh, a lot of times we'll punt on tight end, and then last week I was like, I think you should pay up for tight end this week. I think this is a week where you punt on defense because I
Yeah,
there's not a single defense that's 3,000 or above that I'm like, oh yeah, I want to play them.
yeah. Oh,
Like,
pay up to play these guys. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
No.
none of them. Every single defense I would want to play is under 3,000. So I think this is a week um, where I think you should kind of punt on your defense, and so just for what it's worth in terms of lower over unders, if you want to go that route. Miami Carolina is the lowest over under on the slate at 42. Um, Tennessee New England at 43 and a half. So the Titans defense is only 2,900. And then just kind of below average there, the Steelers Texans, or I'm sorry, Steelers Bengals. So Steelers is 2,700. And then Houston and the New York Jets, both of those games are at 44 and a half. Um, so yeah, I think, and most of those defenses are under $3,000. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I think this is a week where you can pay super down on defense, especially with ones we talked about already. Jacksonville. Um, Jacksonville honestly might be my favorite defensive play of the week.
Yeah, I also don't hate the Bengals this week either.
Yeah.
Again, like
What's their pricing at? 2,700. Yeah, I don't mind that
27.
at all.
Yeah, if you got the extra change, go for it. But all right,
Yeah,
man.
I don't mind that one.
Guys, that's going to be our DFS advice for the week on DraftKings, and of course, as we always do, we have these gut check reactions for So the bets on the slate, and dude, if you got it pulled up,
Yep.
Adam, let's get right into it, man.
All right. So we will first go Pittsburgh, Cincinnati. The Pittsburgh Steelers at the Cincinnati Bengals. Over under is 4.5. Danger, over or under?
Wait, what's the over under?
44.5.
40, oh, 44.5. Oh yeah, that's gonna be over. Give me Cincinnati over.
I like the Cincinnati team total over. I don't know about Pittsburgh's defense as much. I think I might take the under in that game, which would be good for Joe Mixon. And Cincinnati is 3.5 point home favorites.
Yeah, give me the points on Cincinnati that they win over 3.5.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think Cincinnati covers there. All right. And this isn't necessarily an order. It just happens to be an order of like the defenses I have pulled up. So
Oh,
it's
all
not an
good.
order of like time or kickoff or anything. Minnesota Vikings at San Francisco 49ers. Over under is 49.5.
Ooh. Give me an over on that too. Vikings.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll take the over on that one. Um, the 49ers are 3 point home favorites.
Give me Vikings.
Yeah.
Give me points Vikings. Yeah.
I agree with you on that one. All right. The Carolina Panthers at the Miami Dolphins. Over under is 42. Over or under?
Um, give me under, but give me Dolphins. I think this is
Okay.
I think this would be a bit of an upset.
Okay. Well, it would be because the Panthers are 2 point away favorites. So you're saying Dolphins with the points?
Give me Dolphins with the points.
Yeah. Gosh, I talked about how much I love Cam Newton so much last week. Give me the Panthers -2 because I think Miami will be a little overconfident after they beat the New York Jets. Um, so yeah, give me that. Okay. Uh, Easily the best game of the week. The New York Jets will visit the Houston Texans.
God.
The over under is 44.5.
44 and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, give me under, but give me Houston.
All right. So I'm gonna go over in that game. Houston is 2.5 point home favorites.
Give me Houston. You there?
Let's do it.
Yeah, okay.
Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson, yeah,
Um,
baby, let's do it.
let's do it. Zach, the New York Jets cover, baby. The Jacksonville Jaguars will host the Atlanta Falcons. Over under is 45.5.
Oh man, give me over on this. I have no rhyme or reason.
I'm gonna
Like
take.
I said, give me a gut. Just I feel it in my gut this week. Give me an over
I'm
on
gonna
that.
go with. I'm gonna go with the under on that one. Um, Atlanta is 2 point road favorites.
Give me
Well,
Falcons. Give me Falcons.
oh, gosh,
Yeah, I
ballsy.
know.
All right, I'm gonna take the Jacksonville with the points on
Yeah,
that one.
yeah.
Trevor Lawrence for sure.
Philly,
Um,
baby.
all right, we already talked about Carolina, Miami. The Philadelphia Eagles will visit the New York Giants. Over under 45.5.
No, over.
I'll go over as well. Philadelphia is 3.5 point road favorites.
Oh man, yeah. Philly. How's that even close? What? Like
Yeah, I
that
hate
makes
that. So that doesn't make sense to me either, which is why I'm inclined to go with the Giants and the points on that one, just because it seems too good to be true.
oh,
And I think,
wait, I know why. It's because they fired Jason Garrett. They're like, okay,
oh,
we got we got play calling back, dude. If you want to
yeah,
know how bad Jason Garrett's play calling was, the only touchdown they scored last week was with an O lineman. Like
yeah,
his play
Andrew
design
Thomas.
is stupid, dude.
Yeah, it's bad. Um, so yeah, I think I'm inclined to take the Giants there. I would stay away from the spread just entirely if it were up to me. But I like the over in that game for sure.
Yeah.
Um, all right, this one highest over-under on the slate, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Indianapolis Colts. Over-under is 53.
Man, give me over.
Hmm.
Give me over on that.
I think I'm going to go under on that one.
Yeah.
I think it's just a little too good to be true with how coming off Jonathan Taylor's week. I think both teams kind of want to control the tempo of the game.
Yeah.
I'm going to go under on that one. Tampa Bay is 3-point road favorites.
Yeah, give me Tampa.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. All right. The Tennessee Titans will visit the New England Patriots. Over under is 43.5.
Give me over on that too.
I'm gonna take I'm gonna take the under on that one. I think I just think this game can be really ugly. New England is or no, I'm sorry. Yes, no, that's correct. New England is 7-point home favorites.
Yeah, I would have to go with
You think
that.
so?
Yeah, home
I'm
favorites, dude. Patriots with a banged up Tennessee offense. Yeah, man.
I'm still gonna ride with Mike Vrabel, and
Ride
I'm
or
gonna
die,
take
baby.
Tennessee with the
Right on, dude.
points. Yeah,
Hey,
I'll
no,
take Tennessee to cover 7.
like I said, man, those statistics where it's just like out of left field, they hold
Mm-hmm.
up for some reason, man. There's a reason why
Yeah.
they're there. Yeah.
Yep. All right. The Los Angeles Chargers will visit the Denver Broncos. Over under is 48. Over or under?
Give me under on that one, but give me Chargers. Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough because it's in Denver.
Yeah.
I think it'll depend on what the weather is like. I don't know what the weather is like, but assuming that it's clear, I think I'll lean the over on that one. Chargers are 2.5-point road favorites. You still want to take that one?
Yeah, give me Chargers, dude.
Yeah, I think Denver's kind of yeah. I think they're kind of due for another skid like they had at the beginning of the year. So I'll agree with you on that one. All right, last one, and try and take the bias out of it like I did with the New York Jets. The Los Angeles Rams will visit the Green Bay Packers. So both LA teams are going to be on the road. Over under is 47.
Ooh, man. With everything going on right now, but like I have faith in our team. I have faith in our coach. Give me the over on that, man.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that one, and I think I'm going to agree with you on the next one.
I'm gonna go over the Rams on that too.
I just remembered that it's in Green Bay.
Hey, if you want to go Green Bay, dude, let's make a bet then on something.
No, I'm not going to do it.
Oh, come
I'm not
on.
going to do it.
He's got
We
it.
can bet it. We'll bet on something else, and when you guys join the Discord, which is 100% free, that I forgot to plug at the top of the show, you can see whatever we decide to bet on. But I'm not gonna bet against Matthew Stafford and Odell Beckham Jr. this week. Give me the Rams -2 on the road.
All right. Well,
All right,
that is it, baby.
that's it. So again, like, comment, subscribe, and hit the alerts like we mentioned at the beginning of the video. Make sure you join our Discord, which is 100% free. The link will be in the description to the video. There's no bait and switch. There's no monthly membership fee. It's just a bunch of people talking about all kinds of different sports. It's not just football. We got guys for basketball, baseball, Danger Devils, and esports. I do NASCAR, just all across the board. We try and have you covered, regardless of what type of sport you want to play or just provide general picks on. So make sure you join that because it's 100% free. And for our final rankings and picks and everything like that, we post those closer to kickoff. So, in addition to watching the video and kind of getting some deeper analysis there, make sure for final rankings that you join the Discord because we will post those so that you can set up your lineups properly. Danger, you got anything else before we go?
No, that is it. Hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving, and we'll see you guys next week.
All right. See you, everybody.